Jesse, thank you so much for bringing us up to date on that situation. Jesse spent his whole day in Sale Creek. Well, back on January 27th, Karen Liner, a beloved Cleveland realtor, was murdered at her Arthur Lane home. Now her ex-husband Craig Liner is charged with first-degree murder and felony murder in her death.
News 12's Nick Hill was at the preliminary and bond hearing today in Bradley County, where we learned some of the actions he took immediately after she was killed. Nick, what can you tell us this evening?
It was early on that January morning as Ring surveillance video showed a vehicle pulling into Karen Liner's driveway. What was shown next has shaken an entire community and left those who knew both the victim and defendant stunned. We do want to warn you that some of what you will hear in this story is disturbing.
135 Arthur Lane.
Those were some of the last words 51-year-old Karen Liner spoke before multiple gunshots rang out on that 911 call. She then went silent. The lead prosecutor in the case says this is just one piece of evidence that demonstrates the horrifying nature of the act they believe Craig Liner committed.
Her telling him to get out and that he couldn't be there, and screaming and fighting for her life.
The 911 call and surveillance video showed the murder occurred around 8:44 a.m. Roughly 15 minutes later, Craig Liner's first cousin, Jay Collins, returned home to find Liner acting unusually.
And he said, "Well, it's over." I said, what are you doing? It's over. I said, what do you mean? I finished it, or I was in a state of shock at that point. I was like, what?
Collins said Liner wanted to leave 3 firearms at his house, including a .40 caliber that he used to, quote, take care of his problem, end quote.
He didn't act like he ain't done anything. I told him, I said, you gotta be kidding. I said, go home.
Mr. Liner's attorney, Matthew Rogers, argued that the only reason he believes his client does not have a bond in this case is due to the public pressure of this whole situation.
But if this would have happened between two exes down on Wildwood in a different part of town, between people that didn't have resources, between people that were unknown, it would be a mere blurb on the news.
However, the state argued that if he were released on bond, he could pose a danger to surviving family members.
We would all be terrified of the fact that he was in the community that we live in. The only solace that we have at this moment is that he is behind bars.
This case has been bound over to a grand jury, and Judge Collins upgraded this case to a capital murder. That means no bond, and if convicted, Craig Liner could face the death penalty. Reporting live, Nick Hill, News 12.